Hey, PBC family, it's so glad to be before you again. I was thinking about what I wanted to share with you as we move towards Sunday, and something I've been thinking through this week as we continue this journey of shelter in place. What are we going to look like on the other side? And something that's occurred to me is that we live in a season of wilderness. And the wilderness for all of us looks a little bit different. And the wilderness is not something new. It's actually something quite biblical. The wilderness can look a lot of different ways for each of us. And the wilderness experience for all of us can be something that we have caused, something of the effects of others, and or something that God is doing that has a greater purpose that maybe we don't fully understand why we're in the wilderness season. And I was getting ready for, in a couple of weeks, we're going to be looking at some stories through the Israelites. And the Israelites are a great story of understanding this wilderness thing because they have come out of Egypt, out of captivity, and now they're at a crossroads at the Red Sea, and God delivers. And now they're on the other side of that, and God has been with them and has done everything for them all the way through. At the moment of the promised land that he has said is theirs, it won't be easy, but he said we're going to get to it. And if they would remember all the things that he has done prior, they would know the promised land is theirs. But they flinch, and they flinch bad. The spies come back and they tell them an unfavorable story. Two of them say that they can, the rest say they can't. The whole Israelite family rebel against God and against Moses. And because of that, God sends them into the wilderness, not for 40 days, not for 40 weeks, but for 40 years. And so I want you to think about that. 40 years. If you think that 30 or 40 days is frustrating and you're thinking, why God, I'm tired of this, think about 40 years. And so with that as our backdrop, I think there's some things that we can learn in the wilderness. It is not wasted. It is for our greater good. And God sends the Israelites into the wilderness for some refining, for something bigger than themselves. And so I don't want you to look at the wilderness going, woe is me, why me? There's nothing good coming out of this. I promise you, God is doing something in your life during this season of the wilderness that we call the shelter in place. And I'll tell you, one of the things I've learned is that God is using this to expose hidden idols in your life and in my life. He's wanting to reveal those things that have given us comfort, security, things that we have placed our dependency on more than him. And so just like he did with the Israelites, he is doing that in our life. The next thing I'll say is that God is growing your faith and in my faith with a season of endurance. Think 40 years, folks. We've been in this for about 35 days, and he is doing this to strengthen our faith and our endurance for the long haul in all shapes and sizes. So this is not wasted in that. And I want you to know that. He's also trying to reshape your perspective in the wilderness. Because when you think that you've got it worse, there's somebody else that has it much worse. I promise you. There's somebody else that's got it much worse. So he's trying to shape your perspectives so it's not so much about you. So that you can start to see, God, what are you trying to teach me? What are you trying to show me in this season of life, in this wilderness experience that I'm in? And here's the really cool part. God is trying to prepare you for something better, something greater. Maybe it's a deeper relationship with him on the other side of this. Maybe it's a greater awareness. Maybe it's less about you and more about other people and more about what God's got for you. And so the wilderness experience isn't to be wasted. It is an opportunity for us. And instead of all of us looking for reasons to get out of it and excuse it, explain it, dodge it, cast blame, is to say, God, what do you want to teach me in this moment? Because here's what God said in Deuteronomy 2:7. They are about to kind of make final preparations as they start to move into the promised land. And God is doing all this leading. And on Deuteronomy 2:7, you need to hear these words. And he says this. It says, for the Lord your God has blessed you in all the work of your hands. He knows what you're going through in this great wilderness. He knows. These 40 years that the Lord has been with you, the Lord has been with them for 40 years. He's not left them. He's taken them. He's carried them. You've lacked nothing. And so in these years of the wilderness, or in these days of the wilderness, remember, he is with you. He knows. He's going to make sure that you got what you need, mostly him. Let the wilderness experience be an opportunity of growth, not complaint. Guys, remember, we're in it together. We're going to get to the other side together. But the wilderness is for our greater good as God shapes our lives. And I hope you know that. And we'll look forward to sharing our time together this Sunday again, 10:30. It's going to be great. Guys, know it. We're praying for you. And I just pray that you'll see the wilderness as an opportunity to see God work in your life. Y'all have a great week. We'll see you soon. God bless.